Welcome to Aging Insight with your host, John Ross and Lisa Schollmeyer. This program is made possible by
Welcome to another episode of Aging Insight. I'm your host, John Ross. Not here with my partner, Lisa, today, but we're going to have a special guest. We have Terry Arnold, who is the Executive Director for the Alzheimer's Alliance. And you may say, well, what do you have her on there for? Well, you know, the whole point of Aging Insight is we try to address your health, housing, financial, and legal needs, because we know that if you have information about these sort of things, you can accomplish your goals as you're going through life. You can try to figure out, how do you stay out of a nursing home? How do you avoid becoming a burden on your friends and family? And how do you avoid losing all of your life savings as you navigate through your later years? And we've spent a lot of time talking about different financial and legal things, but there's still that health and housing part of it that comes into all of this. And one of the most significant things out there that affects people as they get older is Alzheimer's disease. And it is one of those diseases that one disease has a housing impact, it has a financial impact, and it has a legal impact. So the more we can learn about that particular disease, the more we can help all those people out there. And luckily in our community, we have a wonderful resource in the Tri-State Alzheimer's Alliance. Now, I'm a little biased. And I am a little biased because I am, as well as being the host of this program, I am also the president of the board of directors for the Alzheimer's Alliance. And I've been a part of this organization for a long time, but we wanted to bring Terry in so that we could give you more information about what the Alliance does, what services we offer, and what else is out there as it relates to this disease. So Terry, welcome.
Thank you, John. I'm honored to be here with you today.
Excellent. So tell me about, what would you put in your own words? What is the mission of the Alzheimer's Alliance?
Well, we want to take care of those families suffering with Alzheimer's or other related dementias.
Well, and I think the interesting thing here is the focus.
Yes.
You didn't say we're taking care of the person with the disease, but we're taking care of the family.
The families. It involves everyone in a family.
Right, and I think one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, for example, when you're dealing with Alzheimer's disease, is we have a tendency to focus on the person with the disease. And yet it's that disease then turns around and impacts everybody else. So, for example, one of the statistics that we throw out a lot is that the life expectancy of somebody with Alzheimer's is somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 years. But the life expectancy of the spouse of somebody with Alzheimer's, like what, 3 to 5 years?
It significantly decreases, yes.
And so really what the Alliance is there for then is to help those caregivers, help them learn about the disease and that sort of thing.
Absolutely. John, you know this as well as anyone, that caregivers, their day just never ends. It's 24/7. And so with the Alzheimer's Alliance and our place, Respite Center, we want to focus on helping those caregivers get through their days.
Well, let's talk about some of the resources then that are available. We have support groups.
Yes.
And how many? We've got support groups in several different areas. Because how big of an area are we covering then as the Alliance?
We cover 22 counties throughout Texas, Arkansas, and one in Oklahoma.
Is that McCurtain?
That's McCurtain County.
Yeah, so our friends over in McCurtain County.
Yes, McCurtain County. And so with that, right now we are at about 16 support groups, and we are really working to make sure that every one of our counties and service areas are covered with a support group.
And the one of the things about these support groups is this is a way where you can actually get in and visit with other people who are going through the exact same thing as you are. And especially if you're going earlier, you actually get an opportunity to see the struggles of people who are further along down the road, giving you some idea of where you're headed. Because it's a whole lot easier to learn from somebody else's mistakes. When they talk about things that they've done, I know I've talked to several different families and how they deal with some of the more common things, like how they deal with the sundowners, for example, and the where they get agitated in the evenings, or how they respond to claims like, I want to go home, even though they're sitting in the home they've been in for years.
Yes.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that that disease is aging that person backwards. And the natural response for most people, when somebody says, I want to go home, the natural response is, you are home. But you don't really want to correct a person.
That is true.
One of the things we always say is that a person with Alzheimer's is always right. They're always right.
Yes.
So you take their environment and you convert your world to theirs. So, a lot of times if they're, and these are the kind of things that you can learn in that support group, that if that person says, I want to go home, you say, okay, let's go.
Yes. Or one of the things that works really well is to say, tell me about your home. And then you can determine more about where they are and where they think they're going. Right.
And then maybe instead of trying to correct them, distract.
Exactly. Distraction is one of the key elements with this disease.
Say, hey, why don't we go get an ice cream cone at Sonic and head out of the house, go get you an ice cream cone, drive right back up to the house and say, here we are, let's go back in.
We're home.
And you can just kind of run. And these are the kind of things that I have, having talked to these families, especially the ones that go to these support groups, these are the things that they learn. They don't necessarily learn them from doing it themselves. They learn it because somebody else has already been through this, and they can get that support and learn about the disease through other people's experiences.
That is so true, and people sometimes wait a little too long to try to reach out and get help. They feel like they can do it on their own, and then by the time they reach out, they are really struggling. So I always encourage families to reach out, even if you're in the very early stages. Come talk to other families, because some of the solutions to some of the situations that they may be encountering could be as simple as putting a rug in front of your front door to prevent them from trying to exit. A dark rug, simple as it is, will distract them from trying to go out of that door. It appears to be a black hole, and they will not try to cross and go out of the door.
Right.
So, it's simple things.
Yeah, and who would have ever thought of something like that?
Yes.
I had a client one time who her husband had Alzheimer's, and he had gotten very agitated over the last couple of months, because he kept thinking that there was another man in the house, and he wanted to know who this other man was. And what the deal was he actually didn't recognize his own reflection.
My goodness.
And
yes.
so we were able to, once we kind of figured that out, we were able to essentially just take the mirrors out of the house. And all of a sudden, you take the mirror out of the bathroom, take the mirror out of the hall, and all of a sudden, he's a happier guy.
And again, some of the solutions are very simple.
Yeah, you just got to know them.
Yes.
And trying to learn that the hard way.
I loved what you mentioned about the stage of their life that they are in at that moment. Someone with Alzheimer's, they may be 70, 80, 90 years old, but in their mind, they're 20 or 30. And so the man that they're married to or the woman that they're married to, they don't recognize them because they didn't know them when they were 20 years old.
Right, or they don't look
same.
like they're
No,
supposed
they
to
do
look.
not, yes.
None of us look like we did when we were 20.
Maybe a child would, but their spouse may not.
That's right. So lots of stuff to learn. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break, but we've got lots more stuff to cover with the Alzheimer's Alliance, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Hi there, I'm Larry Sims. It's been my privilege for the past several years to be a volunteer board member of Hospice of Texarkana, and there I'm able to represent community members like you. We continually customize our end-of-life care to better meet the needs of our community. As an example, Our medical director and nurse practitioner still make visits to homes and facilities. Call today to learn more about the help we can give your family. Hospice of Texarkana, the nonprofit hospice established in 1985 for the community, by the community.
The Wadley Senior Clinic has been such a blessing for our family. Because they specialize in geriatric care, they take the time to really focus on Dad's needs. Their exam rooms are specially designed for seniors, and they offer lab and x-ray on site. With monthly educational programs on health and wellness of the mind and body, our healthcare questions get answered. Best of all, they accept Dad's Medicare benefits. See what the Wadley Senior Clinic can do for you. Wadley Senior Clinic, where healthy relationships begin.
Welcome back to Aging Insight. I'm John Ross, here today with Terry Arnold, the Executive Director for the Alzheimer's Alliance. And we're talking about Alzheimer's disease, we're talking about the Alzheimer's Alliance, and this very valuable resource that we all have here in our community to help learn about this disease. We before the break, we were talking about the support groups as one of the big resources that we have available at the Alzheimer's Alliance. But there's also lots, I mean, we've got a knowledge base there of books and magazines and all kinds of learning tools.
A very large resource center that's available to anyone that could use some information, whether it's books or tapes or websites, any type of resource that someone could possibly need to help guide them in what they're dealing with.
And some of these books are very, very good. One of my favorites is the playbook that was written by Coach Frank Broyles.
Yes.
This is the famous coach from the University of Arkansas, who he and his family teamed together to care for his wife as she progressed through the disease, and as a result, he wrote a book about
Yes.
it. But he's a coach. So he wrote it like a coach would write it.
That's right. Play by play.
That's right. If they do this, then do this. And if they ask for this, then respond this way. And those are the great kind of resources that you're not necessarily going to find that sort of stuff at the bookstore.
That's right. And what I like so much about this book and several others is that it's an easy book to read and to understand. You know, some books can get so clinical that you get lost in the text, but these books, we can all understand those, even if we don't have a clinical background.
Right. It's not like trying to read one of my legal papers or
Sure,
something.
exactly.
It's very, very cut and dried, very easy. And so, and we've got this great resource there, this resource library essentially, where you've got access to all of these things. And so anybody really who's dealing with this.
Anyone, a family member, a friend of a family, the resources are just available and unlimited for anyone that needs them.
And of course, the Alzheimer's Alliance, we've been around for a number of years.
30 plus.
Yeah, so the organization's been there, but not very well known, at least in the past.
Yes.
Alzheimer's has been kind of a disease that only affected some people, and it didn't really get a lot of attention, but it's getting a lot more now. And part of that is because the number of people that are getting diagnosed
On the rise,
with this.
yes.
It's like the third leading cause of death or something like that. It's very serious, and so more people are learning about it, but they still need to get out there and educate themselves, and the sooner the better.
That's correct. And with all the different forms of dementia, we're learning more and more that it's just not Alzheimer's. There are many forms of dementia, which I didn't know up until I joined the Alzheimer's Alliance, that Alzheimer's is a form of dementia.
Right. Yeah. A lot of times people will say, you know, my mom has dementia. Saying my mom has dementia is kind of like saying my mom has a cough.
Right.
It's actually a symptom of an underlying disease. That underlying disease may then be Alzheimer's, it might be Parkinson's, it might be Lewy body, it might be one of the other 14 or so different diseases that can cause dementia. It could be a urinary tract infection.
That's correct.
Which of all things is the single #1 biggest cause of dementia is urinary tract infections. Something I didn't know until I kind of got involved in all of this sort of
Yes.
thing. Now, one of the things I'm most proud of over there at the Alzheimer's Alliance is a resource that we've just brought into this community in the last 2 years, and that is the Respite Center.
Our Place Day Respite Center, yes.
And so, give us the concept. What are we doing with the Respite Center?
The concept behind the Respite Center is for caregivers to be able to bring their loved ones with Alzheimer's or dementia into a safe, loving, stimulating environment, and gives them the opportunity to have a day of rest. We offer the Day Respite Center, Our Place, 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. We're open from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. and we just have a lovely day with all of our friends. We are very blessed to have volunteers that can be the caregiver, if you will. We refer to them as our companions for our friends, but we have a one-on-one situation, so each of our friends can have a day that they enjoy, and we can tailor that day around their specific needs.
Well, and right before I got to the studio, I was visiting with a family, and the husband has Alzheimer's, the wife is caregiver, and I was talking about Our Place, and I was explaining that this is a place where he can go and have a good time while you take a break. And they were a little leery. They were like, I just don't know that he would really enjoy something like that. Has that been your experience with the people that show up over there? Do they? I mean, everything I've heard is that the families are shocked at how much fun they have.
They truly are, and I have found that if you can just get them to come in the door, they come back time and time again. And I know these families feel like they are the only ones that can really care for them in the way that they need to be cared for. But when they come and see how our volunteers are trained, the environment in which they will be in, the loving, safe, it is such a home-like environment with music therapy and dog therapy and games. It is just a day filled with a lot of socialization and stimulation.
Right, and if that's not enough, really, there's more to this, because we're also giving that caregiver a day off.
That's right.
And I mentioned earlier that caregiver, especially a spousal caregiver, that their life expectancy is shortened because of the stress and strain of being a caregiver. But just one day of not being a caregiver adds something like 30 or 40 days to their life expectancy.
That's correct.
And that socialization that the person with the disease gets, it adds 15 to 20 days to their life expectancy. So there's other than just a place to go and have a good time, there's some real solid health reasons.
That's exactly right.
To use this sort of thing.
A lot of benefits for both the person with Alzheimer's, dementia, and the caregivers. It benefits both sides.
And really, it's a great little place. If you ever get an opportunity, I assume anybody's welcome to come by and take a look and take a tour. And
you bet. We're there Monday through Friday, and we welcome anyone at any time.
Yeah, so get out there and take a look at this place. It is a really neat organization. This day center is unlike anything else that we have around. It's a very valuable tool in this community that people just don't know about, and they need to know about it. They need to use it because it's fantastic. Let's take one more little break, and we're going to talk about some event stuff that's coming up with the Alzheimer's Alliance.
Absolutely.
And so stick around. That's going to be pretty good information. So hang out. We'll be right back.
I'm so glad we found the Wadley Senior Clinic. Their team specializes in caring for older adults, and their doctors listen and work with me to keep me healthy and independent. With monthly educational programs, x-ray and lab, and state-of-the-art exam rooms, I get expert care and understanding about what I'm going through. Best yet, they're easy to get to right off the interstate at Jefferson. See what Wadley Senior Clinic can do for you. Wadley Senior Clinic, where healthy relationships begin.
Hi there, I'm Larry Sims. It's been my privilege for the past several years to be a volunteer board member of Hospice of Texarkana. And there I'm able to represent community members like you. We continually customize our end-of-life care to better meet the needs of our community. As an example, our medical director and nurse practitioner still make visits to homes and facilities. Call today to learn more about the help we can give your family. Hospice of Texarkana, the nonprofit hospice established in 1985 for the community, by the community.
Welcome back to the last segment of Aging Insight. I'm your host, John Ross, still here with Terry Arnold, the Executive Director of the Alzheimer's Alliance. And we've been talking about the Alzheimer's Alliance just as an organization, which has, we've got support groups, we've got a resource library with books and magazines, and we have our place, the Day Respite Center. I didn't, you know what, when somebody first mentioned a respite center, I had to go look up the word.
Yes, that's common.
I didn't even
Yes.
know. Respite was just not in my vocabulary. But all it means is rest. It's a period where you can take a break.
Yes.
And so the respite center, that's exactly what it is. It's a place where that caregiver can take a break.
Yes.
And it's a great little place over there. It is. It feels like it's like a living room and a dining room, and it feels like a house.
And that's why we wanted to refer to it as a respite day center. It's not like a child care day center. It is truly a respite center because it caters both to the caregivers and the person with Alzheimer's.
And of course, like you said earlier, staffed by volunteers.
Completely staffed by volunteers.
And so, maybe you're sitting at home and you're thinking, well, I don't have anybody. Luckily, in my family, there's nobody with Alzheimer's. So, I don't guess I really need to worry about this. But if this is something that you care about, I don't have anybody in my family with Alzheimer's, and yet
your whole family is there.
My whole family is there. My mother's
Yes.
up there hanging out with the friends. My kids are cleaning the floors.
That's right. The whole family.
Yeah. So
your
there's-
dad.
My dad's up there doing stuff, fixing
Yes.
things, and so there's lots of volunteer opportunities if somebody wanted to help with support groups, just help around, or if they wanted to help with the respite center. So,
Absolutely.
and of course, that's one thing about being a nonprofit organization is that you rely a lot on volunteers, and then occasionally you might have some sort of function. You might do something to raise awareness. Seems like we have something like that coming up.
We do indeed.
And this is your bright idea.
Well, with others also, but I'll take some of the credit for that. Yes, with every nonprofit, it takes funds to operate. When we're talking about our respite center, we do not turn anyone away if they are not able to pay.
Sure.
They're welcome to come, and we offer scholarships. But with that, we have to turn the lights on every day and open the doors and help these people bring their loved ones even if they can't pay. So we have to have funds coming in. So we are having our inaugural Twice as Fine Texarkana Wine Festival here in Texarkana. I just happen to have a little bit of information here on it. Beautiful graphics, but it's going to be a day of fun at Spring Lake Park, May 2nd, and it's going to be filled with around 20 wineries from the state of Texas, a wonderful little wine garden, but we'll also have other areas with food merchants and retail merchants. We have a whole lineup of bands that will play throughout the day. It's just going to be a wonderful event for a really wonderful cause.
All right. So something very new for our community.
It's the first ever. Yes.
Bringing a wine festival to Texarkana. Should be a lot of fun. So wineries from all over the state.
All over the state of Texas. Currently, we have 20 confirmed wineries from different areas of the state of Texas, and we are truly excited about that. It's just something that will be a first for Texarkana.
Should be a lot of neat, and it's going to be at Spring Lake Park. It's
Spring
going to
Lake
be
Park.
all day long.
All day long, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's just so much going on. Everyone, no matter what your taste, you'll find something that you'll enjoy.
Even if you're not a wine drinker.
Even if you're not a wine drinker.
Well, that's perfect.
That's fine with us. Just come on out.
Just come on out and enjoy a day, and a great opportunity, especially maybe if you're not, could even be an opportunity to expose somebody to the Alzheimer's Alliance who maybe has been hesitant in the
Exactly.
past. See who we are, because we'll certainly have lots of people out there representing the organization, and so lots of
Well, we
opportunities.
will certainly be raising awareness about our organization. We'll have a lot of marketing materials out, and everything says it benefits the Alzheimer's Alliance. So
Yep.
we're
So it's-
excited.
Yeah, so it's a great program. So we've got the Alzheimer's Alliance, we've got our library, we've got our respite center, we've got our support groups, and we're bringing this fantastic wine festival to Texarkana in just a short little while.
Yes.
We're about a month?
Yes, May 2nd.
About a month and a couple of
Yes,
days away.
maybe a month and a week. Yeah.
So
it's
anyway,
countdown.
exciting stuff. So I hope if you're curious about Alzheimer's, get out there and learn about it. If you're dealing with the disease, for you or for a family member, get out there and learn about it. Get over to the Alzheimer's Alliance and find out more. Now, what's the location?
We're at 100 Memory Lane, which is just off of Texas Boulevard and Olive Street.
Yeah, there's a little sign on Texas Boulevard. If
Yes.
you spot it and then you turn right on Olive, and it's right back up there. The city named the street after
That's
us,
right.
Memory Lane. So get out there and get some more information. And as always, tune in to Aging Insight, where you can learn more about the different things that will help guide you through this world of aging. There's lots of stuff to it, and so we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for this week's Aging Insight program with John Ross and Lisa Schollmeyer. This program is made possible by